This episode came out on September 12th, 1992. It was directed by Dick Sebast, or Dick Sebast. I don't know how to pronounce his name.
I say Dick Sebast.
I'm going to say Sebast, I think. Story by Sean Catherine Derrick and Lauren Bright. Script by Jules Dennis and Richard Mueller. Animation by ACOM Production. Featuring Kevin Conroy as Batman and Bruce Wayne, Bob Hastings as Commissioner Gordon, Ephraim Zimbalist Jr. as Alfred, Adrienne Barbeau as Catwoman and Selena Kyle, Herb Edelman as Stern, Kate Mulgrew as Redclaw, Mary McDonald Lewis as Maven, Frank Welker as Isis, Steve McGowan and Neil Ross as additional voices. Some honorable mentions there right off the bat. Neil Ross done a bunch of additional voices here. We've mentioned him in the past on this podcast. We also interviewed him on a previous podcast, Spider-Man the Animated Series podcast, where he played the role of Norman Osborn and the Green Goblins. You can go check that out, but he's done some additional voices in this show as well. Other honorable mentions, we mentioned Jules Dennis and Richard Mueller, as well as Sean Catherine Derrick and Lauren Bright previously, so I won't go into all of that. Director Dick Sebast, or Dick Sebast.
Sebast.
We'll get it right. One of us is right. He directed 9 episodes of Batman the Animated Series, as well as a producer and director of The Incredible Hulk the Animated Series. You remember that show?
Hulk. The Incredible Hulk.
Yeah. He also directed episodes of Max Steel, which totally blew my mind when I showed you this.
We were talking about Max Steel the other day.
Yeah, isn't that crazy? I was like, oh my god, that's the second time I've heard Max Steel in the last few days. We never watched the show, but we had all those action figures. They were great.
I think we tried to watch an episode too. We were like, the toys are cooler. and I bet they were like, that's fine. As long as you're buying the toys,
yes.
We don't care about the show.
It was crappy CG as well, remember? It was like that reboot or like... Do you remember there was like a CG show with like a bad guy with like a big blue chin, like a massive big blue chin? I think it was called Reboot. I don't remember.
Are you talking about the show that where like the main character was like, he looked like the Nez kid from Earthbound, but his skin was like teal?
Yes, I am. Yeah,
that show.
Yeah, Reboot. Yeah. So it was in that type of CG style. Anyway, we just went down memory lane there. I haven't thought about Reboot in fucking years. Okay, we've also got, he directed episodes of The Mummy, Ultimate Avengers 2, the animated film, and Doctor Strange, the animated film as well. So that was some honorable mentions for Dick Sebast, or...
Dick Sebast!
And then we haven't really mentioned Frank Welker that much, but he's in pretty much, he's one of the most famous voice actors of all time. He does Isis the cat in these episodes. He's going to come back loads, mainly as animal noises. He does countless sounds for animals in shows and movies, like way too many to reference. But some of his most famous are, he is the voice of Shao Kahn in the first Mortal Kombat film. Right at the end, he shows up. He's also the voice of Megatron, Shockwave, and Galvatron in some of the Transformers live-action films. And he's also Santa's Little Helper and Snowball in The Simpsons, Nunu in Teletubbies, and he's in 6 episodes of Batman the Animated Series.
So this guy just like goes around making a bunch of sound effects then?
Just for animals. He can do like... You're like, oh, yes. And you're like, oh, they must have like recorded that and like tweaked it. No, they just get Frank Welker in and he'll do ton. In fact, whenever there's an animal noise in Batman the Animated Series, 9 times out of 10, it's going to be Frank Welker.
Interesting.
Yeah, he's really talented in that way, and he kind of found like a little niche that he's just that guy you call in whenever you need animal noises. Okay, some fun facts out of my utility belt. There's not many, but there's still a few to go over. There's a brief snippet of As Time Goes By from the film Casablanca, played when Catwoman admits loving Batman and driving off to face Redclaw. Did you hear that?
No.
Yeah, it's ever so briefly. It's a song that's played in the background. That song is now played as an instrumental overture for Warner Brothers Pictures, as seen in their current opening logo.
Oh, really?
Apparently, that's according to this fun fact. And then the final fun fact is Bruce Timm said that the end sequence is geared around the explosions, but they were artistically poor, and the animation was redone 2 to 3 times. Although he felt the final product was still awful, they ran out of time and had to air it. Now, I tend to agree with Bruce Timm there. It's a different production studio doing the animation. It's ACOM, who is, as we know from speaking with directors like Frank Parr and other guests that we've had on this show, was synonymous in being one of the hardest production companies to work with for this show. Do you think the animation looked drastically different?
I thought it looked kind of good, except for there was a lot of focus on Catwoman's assistant of just like walking around the house.
Yes.
Getting glass.
Yeah.
Also, a full jug and a glass for herself. That lady was committing to drinking some lemonade. Did you see that?
I did, yeah. She was having a night in just drinking lemonade.
Yeah. I've never seen someone just like, I'm thirsty. I'm going to drink all the liquid in the refrigerator. You know?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, they were wasting time in that sequence. They were like, we've got to do 22 minutes, so let's just film her going to the fridge and filling up all of the containers in the house. But
and when she walks in the house, she like when Catwoman comes home, there's just a focus on her walking, and it's like 15 seconds long. And I'm like, where? Cut, please! Like, what is going on?
Get on with it. But I guess I do like the payoff though when she puts the picture down on the table, and there's his reflection in the table, so she sees there's a guy behind her. I liked that angle, but yeah, it took a long time to get to it. Yeah, I thought the animation wasn't bad at all. Like, ACOM gets a bad rap, and I'm sure we'll get to the episodes where you're going to be like, why does the Joker look so weird in this episode? And that's because of ACOM. But yeah, I thought this was good. I didn't see
good cinematography.
Yeah, I agree. But the explosions at the end, it was just way too many. And like,
yeah, it was ridiculous.
Batman doesn't kill, but man, he could have killed so many people causing explosions.
Batman may not kill, but Bruce Wayne certainly doesn't give a shit about it. When he drove those two guys off the road, just like, they'll probably live. Like, they had to crawl out to survive, you know?
That's
it's ridiculous.
True. I didn't even think about that. Bruce Wayne totally just like, I'll kill him. I'm not Batman. I don't have to live by that code.
Didn't even wait to check to see if they were all right. Just drove off because he was on a date with Selena Kyle. Yeah. Selena was rubbing off on him in a bad way. Alfred's not happy about it. I told you, sir, she's not good for you.
Just trying to get some of that ass, Alfred. I'm still horny from the last episode.
I know there's a plague going around, but I think it's a love potion, Alfred, because I am horny. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, so you bring up the plague. What did you think about this episode as a whole then? And also, did you like it more or less than part one?
I think I liked part one better.
I agree. Part one seemed to be the better of the two in this show so far. Like, Two-Face part one was better than Two-Face part two. And this is the second time we've come across a two-parter. And I think The Cat and the Claw part one is a pretty strong episode. I mean, it was the first one they aired in the end for reasons that related to Batman Returns. But still, it was a stronger episode. I didn't think it was much of a plot with Red Claw, like, stealing a plague and just ransoming the city for it. And, you know, it was just like, just a plague in a bottle. Like, it was weird.
A plague in a bottle in a 10-mile radius.
What is Red Claw, like some sort of like radio DJ? Yeah. Okay, this next hit is going to hit you so hard. Here we come with...
It's called Plague in Bottles. You're going to love it.
Yeah, it was weak sauce, I thought, for the plot of this episode, considering we had all the build up in part one and like wanted to know what Red Claw's plan was, and she's just like, I steal plague and release it in city. That's all I do.
It was for ransom money, right? That's what she was doing it for?
Yeah, but she was still going to do it anyway, because she was like, we'll be miles away when this goes off, when she like ties Batman and Catwoman up. So I was like, oh, so you just want to release a plague anyway? I thought that's your worst nightmare. If like you're like, wait, what's happened? Who's that? I thought Red Claw was a man. Well, the start of this episode, we got No Socks Gangster meets up with Batman in the park. He's back.
Oh, was that No Socks? I didn't realize it was the same character.
Sammie No Socks.
Yeah, that's why Batman chose, like, let's go to a location that's outside. Really? I got a nice penthouse, Batman. You can come back to my place, you know? We'll be very comfortable. Keep the windows shut.
I got a space heater.
No! I got various cheeses from France, but I think my refrigerator's on the fritz, Batman.
I like keeping it a real thick, muggy 75 degrees Fahrenheit in my house.
I just sent the boys down to the local fish market to pick up supper, so you can have a big fish feast. You are the stinkiest man I've ever met.
Tommy Skidmark is going to come over later.
Oh, no. Skidmark's the cook. Just let you know, he don't wash his hands.
Oh, God. He was even sweating profusely in the park, and I was like,
if you think my brow is full of sweat, wait till you see my loafers here, brother.
I did like how he tried to bargain with Batman by giving him information, though, and Batman's just like, because he's like, lay off the south side if you want to know. And Batman's
like, I will lay off the south side if you wear a pair of fucking socks, man.
No, actually, he's like, I'm not going near the south side if you're still not wearing any socks.
Good to know. The whole of the south side stinks.
We get our first Batman and Gordon's office in this scene, very quick,
yes,
but cool to see. And I was like, oh, that's just sudden. You know, it was like they went from one alleyway meeting in the last episode to... In the last episode.
Welcome to the Danish version of Batman the Animated Series podcast. On this episode...
What are you, like Blue Claw, the Danish version?
I am the Blue Claw. I'm trying to cure the plague, because we're good people over here in Scandinavia.
Yeah, it was cool to see, though, them in the office, just really just doing their normal comic book Batman and Gordon, where they're trying to solve something. Batman's looking out the window, and then Gordon gets on the phone. I thought Batman was going to disappear.
He did that already in the episode to Stinky Feet.
He did do that to Stinky Feet, yeah. That would have been a double whammy. But I thought we haven't had Batman disappear on Gordon yet in this series.
Yeah.
So it'd be interesting to see the first time that happens. Did you notice Red Claw's ridiculous rocket train that she used to get on the train? It's like...
Yeah, were they trying to sell an action figure there or something?
I guess so. All it was like a big platform on wheels with this giant rocket just strapped to the back. And Red Claw is like bent over with her arse in the air as it's on its way. I'm like, what am I watching?
Everyone's horny in this episode, though. It's a two-parter. She was fart powering that one. Oh, the red cabbage for the Red Claw. More stinky people. Crime stinks in this town.
You want to talk about having a plague? You should check out my house after I have some of my red cabbage.
Oh, God.
It's our first time seeing the Bat hang glider as well. That was a random, it's the Bat hang glider we see quite a few times in this show, where he's just flying in to get on the train. I like a Bat hang glider. I think it looks cool with the bat wings as he's just flying around. Also, did you notice we see the bat wing in this episode for the first time?
I think that's my favorite shot of this whole episode is her going down into the sewers or wherever she was going, and then just the bat plane flying overhead past the moon. I was like, cool. Like,
yeah,
you told me everything I needed to know from those shots.
But they didn't touch on it at all after that. You know what I mean? They were just like, yeah, that's what the Batwing looks like. You're like, oh, okay. I thought there was like some grand introduction, like with the Batmobile on leather wings. There was like a big introduction of that, like it's driving out the Batcave and all of that. But this one, it's just like, yeah, there's the Batwing. Just so you know, that's what it looks like.
It's not the movies though, it's the...
Yeah, I guess. I don't know, we've had what do you think of the look of the Batwing in this show? Because we've had a lot of cool...
Sleek.
Yeah. We've had a lot of cool introductions though, like my favorite, the Batboat. I thought that had a really cool
Still your favorite, huh? Still the best vehicle in all of Batman the Animated Series, is it?
I might have changed my mind on that.
I think you said in all of Batman in general, actually. I think you were just so swooped up by the submarine.
The Batmobile, when we watched Heart of Ice, I was like, okay, yes, now I remember why the Batmobile is so cool. Because we hadn't seen it do anything. And it didn't, show itself in, a cool way to me until that episode. But the Batboat, man... It just, I don't know, it brings me back to old TV shows like Thunderbirds that I used to love. Mm-hmm. You know, it reminds me of that because it's a submarine as well as it's a boat. Yeah, you know what? I stand by it, everybody. The Batboat is my favorite vehicle of this entire show.
Is it your favorite vehicle of any interpretation of Batman?
No, the Tim Burton Batmobile is the winner, for sure. No question. But yeah, in the animated series, the Batboat is a close second. I like it a lot.
All right.
So, did you notice the cool-looking henchman this time with the blue sunglasses and the hat and the leather jacket? I pointed him out last time. Did you notice him this time?
I definitely did not.
Oh, he was in it loads, so I was hoping you'd see him. But my image of him was shattered because he's on top of the train helping Rayclaw. He's the one who goes, Rayclaw, look out! But his hat is blown off. And he's just bald as a cucumber with hair on both sides of his head. And it just aged him by 20 years.
No wonder he's your favourite henchman.
He went from Johnny Cage to Grandad in like a second. I was like, oh, mate, you look so cool. But now you wear that hat and you try and dress younger because you're bald and you look old. You ruined it for me.
Sounds familiar to me.
Yes, I just son of a bitch. Look, I've got loads of hair still. Thank you very much.
In the front. How's that back doing?
Got that. So Batman drops another "a woman" comment when he meets Rayclaw. It's one thing to say it to yourself when no one can hear you, Batman, but this time he straight up says it to Rayclaw's face, and her blunt response of, "Do you have a problem with that?" made Batman realize, like, I'm about to get cancelled if I keep this shit up. So he gives a very political answer of, not at all, I'm an equal opportunity crime fighter. Like, I wonder if, like, Alfred gave him a note, like, if you say that again, here's what you need to say. Like, any politician that's in trouble, like, say this.
How not to get cancelled.
Sir, there are women in Gotham, and some of them are criminals. It's possibility that you're going to run into them, so please refrain from saying anything about their gender when you see them. Thank you. Okay, Alfred, but who's that woman outside? Did you notice the doorman was basically the Scotsman from Samurai Jack or Dum Dum Dugan when he was, like, opening the door for Bruce Wayne's car?
No.
He has this giant, like, orange mustache. He looked just like the Scotsman. And I was like, that's quite the character to create for, like, a guy that opens the car door for Bruce Wayne.
Yeah.
I thought he would come back because he had such a distinct look, but nope. Just that we're moving on from that one. He was just there and now he's gone.
I guess Bruce was bored that day. I was like, let's spice it up.
I also love when we see the change of voice that Conroy gives both Batman and Bruce Wayne, like how he switches between them. Like, he's Bruce in the car, but he's talking to Gordon on the phone in his Batman voice, and then Selina's getting in the car, so after he hangs up, he then uses his Bruce Wayne voice. And I love the way Conroy does that, and it works so well. But did you notice he did look very scared, though, when she was coming towards the car, and he was still on the phone, like he was about to get caught using his Batman voice on the phone, because she was, like, coming closer, and he's like, yeah, anyway, Commissioner, gotta go, bye. And then she gets in the car, and it'd be great if he's like, so where do you want to go to eat? She's like, Batman?
No. It's like, wait, you pick me up in the Batmobile, Bruce. Oh.
And then he's on the phone with Gordon using his Bruce Wayne voice.
Yeah. He's on video, just as Bruce Wayne. Batman is Bruce Wayne? Whoopsie.
So, yeah, the car chase scene with Bruce and Selina, I thought that was well animated. You're right that Bruce Wayne doesn't care for anybody's life as he's just running them off the road. But
yeah, there's also he, like, runs a bunch of other people off the road as well. Like at the end, he just drives away and there's just cars parked in, like, different directions on the bridge. And he's like, I'm a rich billionaire. I don't care about this. Oh, I'm sorry. Were all your parents shot and killed in an alleyway? Were they?
I didn't think so. Where do you want to go to dinner, Selina?
Crime alley?
Don't tell me it's a mum and pop shop. Bruce comes on real strong with Selina, though, when he drops her off back at her apartment. Like, he totally shows his cards way too early. He's telling her, like, he hasn't felt this way in a really long, long time. And, like, he's, really into her and he wants to help protect her. And I'm like, mate, ease up. Like, you're coming on way too strong. This is your second date. And each time you've gone on a date, you haven't actually gone on the date because something's gone wrong. So it's a weird thing that you're like, I'm really into you. And she's like, we've barely had a conversation ever because we're always involved in some crime thing.
Remember when you spent 10 grand on me and the bidding? That was yesterday.
I love you.
I'm Batman. Move in with me.
She just closes the door on him. He's like, oh.
I always do this. Every girl I meet, I fall in love with the first day. I tell them I'm Batman, and then they close the door on my face.
Yeah, Alfred's like eagerly waiting for all of the tea when Bruce gets back. Like, how was the date? What happened?
Yeah, he pours his like tea, like, you know, he always comes out with a tray.
Yeah,
he's like, right, spill the tea, sir. And just pours the glass.
What did you say to her? Well, Alfred, I told her that I've never felt like this in a really long time. And Alfred's like, first mistake.
You got to ease and slow. Maybe some playful banter, sir. Alfred, you have been living in this mansion for like 40 years. You're not married. I've never even seen you speak to a woman besides my own mother. I don't think we should be getting dating advice from you. Fuck you, sir. Fuck you very much.
I was a stud back in the day, thank you. Martha was into it. Aha!
Aha, that's right. I'm your father. How about that? Both your parents are dead, bitch, because one of them's right here.
Bruce is like, I thought we were just having tea.
He's like, I love you.
So there's a scene in the Batcave where Alfred and Bruce Wayne are talking, and Bruce heads into the Batsuit chamber to change into being Batman. It's a cool scene, but when we get to my interview with the director of this episode, Kevin Altieri, which is coming up next episode, he shared with me that Bruce Timm said to him and all the crew that he never wanted to see Bruce Wayne out of his costume in the Batcave, or even Bruce Wayne in the Bat costume with the mask off. He did not want to see that.
No,
I
love that.
I know. And you don't see him out of costume or with his mask off until we reach the first Ra's al Ghul episode, or Ra's al Ghul, however you want to say it, which was purposely done for that episode. And this is all explained by Kevin Altieri in the interview that I have with him. But I always thought that was true, obviously, because I read that and I was told that until I watched this episode, and you just see Bruce Wayne walking down the steps with Alfred, and he's in his regular suit.
Maybe he said it after he saw this. Maybe he was like, I don't want to ever do that again. That doesn't look right.
That's true, maybe, because it was still early on in production line. But I have to admit, Bud, like, it did look weird seeing Bruce Wayne walking around the Batcave in his people clothes.
I'm in my people clothes, Alfred. Yes, you are, sir.
I'm in the Batcave.
Yes.
So no. My love that Batman moment, by the way.
Love that.
Batman dealing with the thug and like telling Maven to go hide somewhere and leaving the thug tied up on the flagpole. I thought that was all very Batman to me, but the best bit is when she's like looking for her glasses and Batman's just like a blurry figure beating the guy up. And then she puts her glasses on and Batman just appears in the doorway, like out into the patio. I love the way he just walks in and he's just this like big shadowy figure. Mm-hmm. I was like, oh yeah, that's a great scene right there. It was very weird seeing Batman drive a tanker truck and pull a grenade with his teeth. Yeah. Like, I felt like I was watching G.I. Joe. I was like...
Yeah, it did feel very G.I. Joe, didn't it?
Yeah, he just, like, gets in that truck. And at first I was like, who's driving that thing? And it shows Batman. I'm like, oh, you don't look good in the truck, bud. And then he just yanks the grenade with his teeth. And I'm like, this is not for me. No. And then he causes all those explosions as well. It's just fucking ridiculous how many people he could have blown up in that fire. And it's so much fire, in fact, that he creates this flame wall that he forces Gordon to have a chat with him next to. Like,
yeah, do you see Gordon's like sweating bullets next to him as well?
Yeah. And I'm like, mate, have the conversation somewhere else.
Batman's like, I'm fine. I've got a cooling system inside my suit. I just, and that ain't part of the budget at the GCPD.
Yeah, why are you sweating, you fucking losers? Yeah, just go have the conversation, like, off-site next to a cooler area. It was so weird. I did like how Isis likes Batman too. Like, she's rubbing up against his boots and purring and such when he like goes to arrest Catwoman.
Where'd the cute fat cat go, though?
What, Cotton Bud?
Cotton Bud!
I don't know. That's true. There was only Isis in this episode. All the other cats had left.
When there was like, oh, sorry, Isis, you can't come with me, I could just picture the Cotton Bud be like, I'll come with you. It's fine. My allergies are playing up a bit today, but I'll be all right. It's me, your favorite cat, Cotton Bud.
Imagine if Cotton Bud was behind the entire plot. Like Red Claw, like there's a post-credit scene where she's like, we almost got away with it. Cotton Bud. And then Cotton Bud comes out of the shadows like, that's all right, we'll get them next time. Who's got some treats? And I'd like a bed to sleep in, please.
No plague stuff next time, only treats.
So the end of this episode is Batman handcuffs Catwoman in her apartment and basically like chooses the law over her, which we saw last episode. He was like, there is something between us and I'm afraid it's the law. But what happened after that, you think? Like, that's a bit of an awkward drive in the Batmobile on the way to police headquarters with Catwoman in the car.
So, you like cats, huh? Is it just a certain type of cat you like, or is it you like all cats? Oh, okay, all right. You like big cats? It's, you know, like not just household cats. You know, like the ones. Oh, okay, yeah, all cats, right?
I'm Bruce Wayne, by the way.
I love you.
So you did it again,
Alfred.
Alfred, give me some more small talk pointers, please.
Have you asked her
really
if she likes big cats as well, sir? Yes, she likes all cats, Alfred. Oh, does she like dogs? Oh, do you like dogs? You don't like dogs.
Catwoman's like, for the love of God, when are we getting to police headquarters?
Oh, we've been sitting in the car park at the police headquarters for like 20 minutes.
She's like, help me, somebody get me out of here. And that is the end of the episode. Yeah, not much to talk about in this episode. It really was kind of like it could have been one episode, in my opinion, this two-parter. Don't you think? Like you could have done this in one episode. I think they stretched it out because Catwoman's in it and they wanted to like really introduce Catwoman because she was going to be in Batman Returns. So they were like, let's do a big old two-parter. It made sense for Two-Face for a two-parter, but this one, yeah, you could have done this in one episode easily. You could have cut out all the Maven stuff and like the, no pun intended, but like the cat and mouse game that Selina's like constantly trying to evade these people and Bruce is getting involved and then Batman's getting involved. Like, just cut that shit into one thing. That would have been easy. So our next episode will be our interview with director Kevin Altieri, who directed so many other episodes of Batman the Animated Series. But the next episode review coming after that is an episode titled See No Evil. And buddy, do you remember what that episode is about?
See No Evil. No.
I thought you were going to be like, is it the episode where he's blind? Which would have made sense.
I'm blind.
But it's not that episode. That's called Blind as a Bat. See No Evil is a guy that has an invisibility suit.
What, like the Invisible Man movie?
Like the Invisible Man movie.
I don't remember that at all.
It's an episode that in production order, which is what we're watching it in, was made very early on. But as far as release order, they released it way later because they were like, this seems out of place for this show. It's such a random episode. So we're going to watch the Invisible Man episode of Batman the next time to review this.
Can't wait, but we'll probably like it because we like the weird ones.
We do like the weird ones. Yeah, so we're getting close to one of your favorite episodes. I believe we have Prophecy of Doom coming, which is like the cult magician thing. We have See No Evil. We have Clayface Parts 1 and 2. That's a two-parter as well. And then we get to Joker's Fever. I hope Barney's making meatloaf tonight.
Okay, chuckers!
Oh, a cool tease for everybody out there. The character Charlie Collins of that episode, there is a person that worked on Batman that character is based off of. And Will and I might have spoken to him for the podcast very recently, and that episode will be coming out in the near future as well. Oh. So all the fans out there that know who we're talking about, you got that to look forward to, and if you don't, well then you'll have to wait to find out.
That's right.